Have you ever wondered why God demands to be worshiped? I want to talk to you today about what worship is. Stated positively, the Bible is a textbook on worship. This is why Christian worship demands that the God who has revealed himself clearly in Scripture be declared in the words that we sing or the words that we say. Without his revelation, worship would be in vain. Truth has to be married to the expression of our worship, or else it's vanity. Stated negatively, the Bible is a textbook on idolatry. Idolatry is the worship of anything that is not the one true and living God. God also reveals who he's not throughout Scripture. Now, it's our conviction that a great deal of money is spent on worship. Throughout history, sacrifice was done with extravagant amounts of money. Even praise today is done with extravagant amounts of money. The worship industry itself is a money-making factory. The problem with that is it's easy to have an outward form that expresses worship. What's the difficult part is doing the worship as God prescribes it. Music's great. Music should be used in our expression, but music is not the end all of what worship is. Isaiah indicts the people of Israel by telling them that this people draws near to me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. So God is warning us already in Scripture that it's possible that we give to him a mere lip service, that we can give to him the mere outward show in the flesh, as Paul tells the Galatians. But that's not the essence of worship. The worship that God demands is one that comes from the heart or one from the being of somebody. God does this by transforming us through his truth, and he makes us into true worshipers. The New Testament word for praise is the word ainos. It's the word in the Old Testament, which is the glossary for the New Testament, by the way. It's the word for strength or power. An expression of giving to the Lord honor that's due his name. You're expressing a praise to him with strength. There's another word in the New Testament for praise, and that's epiainos, which is on top of strength. And so you're stating that not just strength, but God on top of that strength. In other words, strength upon strength, I'm giving to him what he deserves. Now, Webster helps us out a little bit in this in the dictionary from 1828. He says, worship is to honor with extravagant love and extreme submission. Love, as we sing in the old song, is deep and wide. Love is deep in the sense that it comes from within. It's not mere lip service, but it's something that comes from deep within the heart. As according to 2 Corinthians 3, we are being transformed as we gaze upon his glory that's revealed in the truth of Scripture. His love is deep, but it's also wide in the sense of it being long. It's a love that lasts. We hear about many marriages that have short distances. We hear about many people's Christian faith that has short distances. True worship is worship that is both deep, it comes from your very being, but it's also long in the sense that it doesn't have a shortness to it, that it lasts for a lifetime. It's something that has endurance to it. Paul, writing to the Thessalonians, he's worried about whether or not their faith has failed. He's worried. He had to leave Thessalonica because he was run out of that city, and those folks chased him all the way to Berea. It's a lot of work to chase somebody for 60 miles just to make sure they're not preaching about Jesus anymore. And those same folks went all the way back to Thessalonica to go get the believers there. And Paul is writing, he sends Timothy there to them, worried about whether or not they're still of the faith, because our faith is supposed to come under trial. And Timothy gives Paul the report that yes, their faith has remained strong. And Paul is just praising God with them because their love has endurance to it. Our faith is not an issue of if we're going to face trials. If you're a true believer in Jesus Christ, you will come under trial. Your faith is going to be tested. And this lasting of your faith is part of what it means to worship. One of the big objections that I hear today from our modern atheist is that God sounds maniacal. He sounds self-absorbed in that he demands worship from his people. So it does beg us to ask ourselves the question, why does God demand to be worshiped? I think C.S. Lewis helps us out a little bit with this. He says, I think we delight to praise what we enjoy because the praise not merely expresses but completes the enjoyment. It is its appointed consummation. It is not out of compliment that lovers keep on telling one another how beautiful they are. The delight is incomplete till it is expressed. It is frustrating to have discovered a new author and not be able to tell anyone how good he is. To come suddenly at the turn of a road upon some mountain valley of unexpected grandeur, and then to have to keep silent because the people with you care for it no more than a tin can on a ditch. To hear a good joke and find no one to share it with. The Scotch Catechism says that man's chief end is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. But we shall then know that these are the same thing. Fully to enjoy is to glorify. In commanding us to glorify Him, God is inviting us to enjoy Him. See, we love to praise because praise is the consummation of the joy we have in Him. When God reveals Himself in Scripture, and the God of this universe opens the human eye to see how glorious He is, that cannot but create worship and praise out of His followers. This creates an enjoyment when His people get together and get to sing or express that praise unto God, which I believe we're going to do forever, and it's going to be an amazing eternity as we enjoy His glory forever.